Obviously, Priest was like, I am in for a treat. Hi booktube, it's Marianne at Readathon book, and today we are talking about my August TBR. So I was supposed to post on Tuesday, completely forgot to film anything. It's been a long week, I'm very tired, I have PMS, it's a whole thing. Hence why I look like not great, let's be honest. So yeah, the August TBR, yet another month where I'm buzzing for what I'm going to read. We've got a lot of historical romance in here, so I'm not going to faff about and talk too much. Let's have a look at the books that I'm going to be reading in August. So we'll start with the physical books I'm prioritising for August, and the first one is A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J Maas, which is the novella which comes after Court of Wings and Ruin, which, by the way, emotionally destroyed me, so didn't appreciate that. Thanks, Sarah. So A Court of Frost and Starlight, I believe, picks up at the end or just after where A Court of Wings and Ruin ends, so they're rebuilding the Night Court and all of that sort of thing, and recovering from that trauma, love and all of that sort of thing. Don't know much about it, that's all I know. I can't give a further explanation as to what happens in this book. It's a short one, it's just a novella. So yeah, I'm hoping I can squeeze in A Court of Silver Flames, but I'm kind of wanting to savour it because I really enjoyed the series as much as I wanted to not love it. Not to be edgy or whatever, but like, I kind of thought, nah, I'm going to dislike this, and I wrote it off in the beginning, and that was a bad move. I own up to my mistakes. I know I did it, but I have loved it, okay? I admit it, I've loved it. Loved A Court of Wings and Ruin, so really looking forward to seeing how everything pans out after everything that just occurred in A Court of Wings and Ruin, which was... It was a time. The next book I'm going to be reading in August is N.W. by Zadie Smith, and this one is about 4 Londoners who have left their childhood behind and are now grown-ass adults in London, living their lives, going about their business. They all manage to bump into each other and something happens. Don't know much about it. This is going to be a common thread running throughout this, because a lot of these books I picked up and didn't really pay a huge amount of attention to what I was picking up. It was just I recognised the authors' names and I was like, I want to read that. There stuff I had seen floating about online and I was like, I want to read that. So yes. The next book I want to read in August is a non-fiction, and it is The Stranger Beside Me by Anne Rule. I spoke about this in my library haul, and it's a non-fiction book that Anne Rule wrote, who was buds with Ted Bundy. So it's like she's talking about what he was like, and they were obviously friends, and she was duped by his whole charismatic demeanour. And I believe that it goes from when they were friends all the way through the kind of court case and everything like that. So looking forward to reading that. The next book I'm prioritising for August is Beach Read by Emily Henry. Again, spoke about this in my library haul, and everybody knows what it is by now. Enemies to lovers, 2 writers, opposing genres, opposites attract. They have to finish their books by the end of the summer. Whoever gets published first wins the bet, and yes, we love a forced proximity. We love an enemies to lovers, so we're going with this. Moving swiftly on to the audiobooks. The first audiobook I'm going to be listening to in August is Sinner by Sarah Simone. Now, I loved Priest, and apparently Sinner's even better. So Sinner is about Sean, who is Father Bell from Priest's brother, and I believe the roles are reversed in this one. Like, he's a bit of a kind of playboy type, you know, a bit rough and ready, and the love interest in it, the female character, don't know her name, but I think she's a nun, or like a nun in training. Like, I don't know what it's called when you're preparing to be a nun to be nun in training. don't know, but that's what she is, and it's a romance, and it's also, I think, an age gap. So, you know, I'm excited. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really buzzing because Priest was. Let's just say I was not ready for Priest. And I'm glad I have a bit of a kind of like reference point for exactly what I'm getting into with this one, because obviously Priest was like. I don't even know, like, Steamy doesn't cover it. Smutty doesn't cover it. It was shameful. I actually felt like I was sinning when I was reading it. So if Priest is anything to go by and this is even better, then I am in for a treat. After Sinner Destroys Me, I'm going to be reading the Scandal and Scoundrel series by Sarah MacLean, and I am buzzing for that one. It is a historical romance series. There are 3 books in the series. So the first book is The Rogue Not Taken, where we have our heroine who basically ends up embroiled in a scandal because she chucks her brother-in-law in a pond or a lake or such like, and to escape the shame that comes with being part of society and then completely embarrassing yourself in public, she decides, I'm going to run away. So she jumps in a carriage thinking, I'm going to get the fuck out of here. And it turns out that the carriage is owned by the Marquess of Eversley. Eversley? Yeah. And he finds her basically stowed away in his carriage. And I believe he's just trying to escape all of the mums, trying to get their daughters to marry him and all of that business. And he's like, I'm going back home to the Scottish borders and I've had enough. But he finds her stowed away. Assumes that she is trying to kind of trick him into marrying her. They end up in a forced proximity situation. We all know how that ends. And we love it. So, sounds like a winner. The next book in the series is Ascot in the Dark by Sarah MacLean, obviously. And this one is about Lillian, who ends up in love with an artist. And he kind of scams her into posing for a nude or partially nude, basically a scandalous piece of art. And then jilts her. So she's kind of left going about society. Everybody knows that she's in this painting. The painting is on display. They have all seen it. So she's like, yeah, I'm out of here. So in comes the Duke of Warwick, who is Scottish and is very much stereotypical Scotsman of that time. Hates the English, hates anything to do with English, but he has inherited a dukedom in England. So he wants to like just deal with his dealings and then get back to Scotland, but he has left. He has to deal with Lillian and marry her off basically to get rid of her so that he can just like fuck off back to Scotland. But you know, she's like, no, I'm not going to marry for convenience. I'm only going to marry for love, which creates a problem obviously for him. And for her, to be honest. But let's be real, the two of them are going to fall in love with each other and it's just going to be exquisite. So, yes. The last book in the series is The Day of the Duchess, and this one is a second chance romance. It's the Duchess and the Duke of Haven. And basically, the Duchess has been banished for a period of time. I have no idea why. And the Duke of Haven, his heart is broken. The two of them are married. And she is basically like, I want rid of you for whatever happened. So I don't know if he's like cheated on her or done something that's caused my part. She's ended up in exile. So he's like, right, okay, well, you can be free. I'll let you go and you can do whatever you want. Just as long as I find you a replacement for me. But obviously he's still in love with her and has to try and woo her and make her fall in love with him again. So second chance romance, coupled in with a little bit of forced proximity, is going to be glorious. And then moving on to the books that I would like to prioritise on my Kindle. I don't know why I'm throwing my arms about so much. It's been a long... I don't know what this energy is. But we're dealing with it. It's fine. Kindle. So... Moving on to another historical romance series, I'm going to be reading the Girl Meets Duke series by Tessa. I have wanted to read this series for a long time. I have had the first book in the series on my Kindle for an extended period of time, and I have not gotten around to reading it yet, so I just got the other 2 books in the series and went, you know what, we're going to go for it. I have the 4th book on pre-order, but I believe that the date keeps getting put off on when it's actually coming out. So that's why it was never really a kind of priority to get it read soon, because I was like, well, I'm going to have to wait like 2 years for the next book. But anyway, right, okay, so the books in the series. So the first book in the series is the Duchess Deal, where we have the Duke of Ashbury, who needs to get married and produce an heir. And he comes upon the vicar's daughter and is like, she'll do, I'll have her. But they get married, and the goal is simply to produce an heir. So he's like, right, this is how it's going to go. We're only going to be husband and wife at night behind closed doors, if you catch my drift. We are going to produce an heir. Once we have produced the heir, we can go about our own business. We don't need to share a bed, you know. That's that. And there's like, we're not going to do it with the lights on. There's not going to be any kissing. It's not going to be like a proper relationship. And she's like, actually, wait a minute. No, we're going to have dinner together every night. We're going to chat. We're going to have small talk. We're going to try and enjoy each other's company. And you know what happens when you try to force emotions out? The emotions just take over. And that's that. So obviously that's not going to work, because these deals never work, and they're going to fall in love, and it's going to be amazing. The next book in the series is The Governess Game, and Alexandra accidentally becomes a governess to 2 children who are absolutely wild. Their guardian, Chase, who is looking after them for whatever reason, she tries to like let him know, look, these girls don't need me. They need somewhere loving and secure. They need a home that they're comfortable in. But he's just this kind of rakish guy that just wants to go have a good time, sow his wild oats and all of that. And he's very much like, he doesn't want attachments. He wants to fly solo, you know. And when she confronts him and is like, you need to do something about these kids. They don't need education, they need love, they need understanding, they need friendship, they need fun. He kind of just views it as a challenge, the fact that she's confronting him, and obviously he's probably going to try and pursue her, and it's probably going to be successful, and I'm looking forward to it. And the 3rd book in the series is the Wallflower Wager, and this one is about Penelope and Gabriel. So Gabriel is the self-made man, has came from the bottom and is now at the top in London society, and he wants to get his own back on all of the people who judged him for being basically kind of the lowlier classes, and go about his business. And then he meets Penelope, and he's trying to get her. I'm assuming that he's probably a duke in this situation. I can't remember. I didn't really read the synopsis properly, because apparently we're going even more unprofessional than usual. So obviously he'll be in charge of like collecting the rents and stuff like that. So he goes to Penelope's house, and Penelope is this shy, retiring wallflower who is just lovely. She likes to rescue injured animals and nurse them back to health, and just sounds like a lovely person in general. But he's like, yeah, you kind of need to get rid of all these animals. And she's like, well, the only way I'm doing that is if you find loving homes for them. And he's like, okay, that's going to be easy. Until she presents him with a horde of animals that are either not suitable for rehoming or are going to be a nightmare for anybody to take on. So again, we've got a kind of close proximity vibe, because the 2 of them are having to work together to get these animals moved on. And it's always the way with a grumpy sunshine. And it's always the way that the grumpy old duke ends up falling for the sunshiny, sweetie wallflower. So we know how it's going to go. This is why I read romance. I know that the romance books that I have on my list. When I read them, I'm guaranteed satisfaction. I'm not going to be disappointed. Well, sometimes they're disappointment, but like not in the sense that you're going in expecting a happy ending and then everything goes to shit. But like you're always guaranteed that the end of the book is going to be uplifting in some way, whether you like the person that they end up with or you like the characters or whatever. There is going to be a happy ending. That is the point. And I know I know that I'm going to enjoy these. I know that they're going to make me happy. I've had good experiences with Sarah MacLean. I've had good experiences with Tessa Dare. So this is going to be good. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. And the last book I'll be reading in this month, which I have been looking forward to, is The Heart Principle by Helen Huang, which is the third book in the Kiss Quotient series, and you know how much I love the first two books. We're not here to get that excited. That was too much. That was a bit much. Okay, so The Heart Principle. We have Anna, who is a violinist, who ends up going viral due to her violinist skills. And she gets her heart broken by her boyfriend, right? She is riding the wave of happiness and she's like, yes, I'm going viral. I am becoming a successful violinist. And then he's like, actually, do you know what? I would really like an open relationship. Which is fine because you have people who are in open relationships that love it and they have a good time and they have a very loving relationship. But Anna isn't really into it. She was kind of wanting that kind of commitment without any other people involved. So she's like, well, if you're allowed to go and sow your wild oats, so the hell am I. She meets Quan, who we were introduced to in the first two Kiss Quotient books. Kiss Quotient books, who I think is just lovely. And they have a one night stand, and then a second night stand, and then a third night stand, and they fall in love. But then tragedy strikes her family somehow. She ends up with added responsibility, which obviously puts strain on a relationship, on a person. And her and Quan are supposed to be like a one night stand, one and done situation, and they just continually keep seeing each other. And she's in this open relationship anyway, and you know, I don't even need to worry about how this is going to end because the first two books, you know, they had me on edge at points and I was like, am I going to have my happily ever after? Like, I can't handle this. And I end up crying and it's just an emotional wreck. Both books had me in tears, you probably remember from the vlogs. So, what was I saying? Where was I going with that? Yeah, so I know, whatever happens, that this is going to be amazing. I am pinning all of my hopes and dreams on this book because, like I said, I've had it pre-ordered. I've been excited about it. God help anybody who has been, like, waiting on it for longer than I have. Because I have been chomping at the bit, waiting on August coming around. And, you know, it took a while. But we're here. We made it. We made it to August, and the book's coming out at the end of the month. And I'm not going to be able to put it down. You know, I'm actually genuinely tempted to put in for a single holiday and take a day off just to read it. Or I can just save it till my day off. But can I do that? Do I have the self-control to wait? I probably do not. But yes, those are the books that I am prioritising for the month of August. I'm hoping that this is going to be a great end to a great summer because June and July were just absolutely amazing reading months. My second half of the month wrap up will be out next week and I will probably be raving because I was buzzing about all the books that I read last month and they were all so good. So why is life so good right now? Not necessarily life in general, but like my reading life. Unfortunately, I have been really busy, you know, with work and being tired and having PMS and just the heat. I actually began to sympathise with raisins because, like, nobody should be losing that amount of, like, moisture on a daily basis. Anybody that lives somewhere hot, like, I don't know how you survive. Like, are you used to it because it is that hot anyway? Or, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know how you do it. It's wild. So yes, those are the books that I'm prioritising for August. What are you reading this August? Is there anything you're really looking forward to? Are you excited about anything? Let me know. Any important links will be in the description box as usual, along with all my social medias. You can follow me, you can add me, we can be friends, we can talk about books. It'll just be amazing, it'll be great. I hope that you're having a lovely day, a lovely afternoon, a lovely evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. I hope that you're well. I hope that you're like chill. I hope that summer's treating you well. And I hope that you don't have sunburn. And I would like to take this opportunity to not send you into an existential crisis, but just to remind you that life is too short to be reading really terrible books. So yeah, don't pick terrible books. Read good books. Have a good time. DNF anything that is not bringing you joy. And yeah, that's it. So stay safe, happy reading, and I'll speak to you later. Bye.